Now, a Chinese government research vessel is circumnavigating Australia's south coast. Sky News has confirmed the scientific research vessel, Tan Suo Yi Hao, is currently off the coast of South Australia and is within our exclusive economic zone. It's tracking along a similar path to our deep-sea submarine cable. The vessel is also following a similar route to the one taken by the Chinese warships last month after it conducted live fire exercises off the coast of the Tasman. Joining us live now is Strategic Analysis Australia Director Michael Shoebridge. Michael, what do you make of this story? My colleague Sharry Markson with this exclusive story on skynews.com.au. What's your read on the presence of this latest vessel?
Well, Kieran, I think it's obvious that China is going to have a continuing and growing military and civilian presence around Australia. And this vessel will be a dual-use vessel. The Chinese don't make a distinction between their civilian and military research like this. So this vessel got the capability to examine undersea cables, and it probably did that as it passed between New Zealand and Australia. And it'll be examining things about the water column, which is so important for how militaries operate. The big thing for me is, do we know what it's doing? And are we using it as an intelligence collection opportunity? But to do that, we'd need to have the right kind of capabilities in our military, like lots of aerial drones to watch it and lots of undersea drones to see what it's doing. And we don't have those things, despite Australian companies making them.
It was in Wellington, Sharry reported on a joint exploration exercise with New Zealand, but the Chinese government-sponsored research vessel does have the ability to drop mini-submersible or submarines that reach up to 10,000 metres below sea level. And as you put it, it's a dual-purpose vessel. That's the way it's described.
Well, exactly. There is no distinction between civilian and military research from these Chinese vessels. So everything that it collects will be passed to the People's Liberation Army, and it will inform their military capabilities and their warfighting doctrine. So this should be a golden intelligence collection opportunity for Australia. If we had hundreds of aerial drones, we could surveil it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If we had hundreds of undersea drones, which are made by Australian companies, we would know what it was doing with its collection tasks. We don't know those things. So although the Prime Minister's in Western Australia talking about health, the health of our military really needs to be on the agenda in this election.
And do you read anything into the route that the vessel has taken, given it was in New Zealand, has travelled through the Tasman and Bass Strait, now off South Australia, as opposed to from New Zealand heading straight back home?
Well, there are a number of undersea cables that connect Australia and New Zealand. Its route would have had it go over the top of those. It's got that submersible you mentioned, so it could be mapping those. And China recently unveiled a very nasty undersea cable cutter that they have. So there's some obvious military utility in knowing exactly where those undersea cables that connect Australia and New Zealand are, but also just seeing what's going on in the water column. That's essential for submarine and anti-submarine warfare, and this vessel will have a range of capabilities to let it understand that. I expect we'll hear from the government there's nothing to see here because this is a civilian research vessel. That's a primary mistake. This research vessel will be helping China's military.
Michael Shoebridge from Strategic Analysis Australia, thank you as always.